Hey everybody out there on the internet. I am Finn McKenty, the head of the music and audio channel here on CreativeLive.com. I am here to talk with Mr. Fronz of Attila about the Bandhappy behind the scenes class he will be doing every day this year on Vans Warped Tour. So Fronz, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know I am about that life. I might not look like it. I promise I am. You can test me, you can quiz me later. I promise I am.
Okay, I'll have to take your word.
You don't have to take my word, I'll prove it. So I guess to start with, I just wanted to kind of cover a little bit about your history. I think maybe a lot of people, Attila has really blown up in the past year or two, but I know you've been doing this for a lot longer than maybe some people think. Do you want to kind of give us a little bit of story about, sort of how you got started, and what happened between then and now, and kind of give people a little bit of sense of history there?
Yeah, sure. Basically, Attila started 10 years ago. I'm 24 now, so I started the band with my drummer when I was only 14. And it's a cool story, really. I was just a freshman in high school, just like anybody else that really wanted to start a band. And, we met up one day, and he gave me a demo in a Ludacris case of what was going to become Attila, and then I joined. We became Attila, and we started off just like any other band. We were a local band playing in garages and driveways, and just working really, really hard. We unlike a lot of bands that are out there today, we actually had to really grind it out and go to the shows and pass out our demos and flyers, and work really, really, really hard. And through lots of hard work and dedication, we were able to get where we're at today. A few years into being a local band, we would book our own tours, like, within the Southeast, just small tours. And it was hard, and, things were really rough in the beginning. But, eventually the hard work and dedication paid off, and now things are great, and I couldn't ask for more. So it's been a long journey, but we literally started from the bottom. So it's really rewarding to be where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I've been aware of Attila for, I don't know, probably 6 years or something like that. And it's amazing to see how far you guys have come, from then to now. So we're also proud of you, Chris. Just wanted to let you know that. I guess we came here to talk about your Bandhappy class. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be teaching there, what people can expect to learn, some of the specific things that you plan on covering?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm kind of almost viewing this class as if I was teaching the 14-year-old me or 15-year-old me. I really want to be able to help out kids who are thinking about starting a band or maybe have a band, and kids that just need more help, because there's a lot more to this industry than what people think. It's not just about being in a band, recording and getting signed. There's just a lot to it. It's really complicated, and it's really hard to explain things to somebody like through a blog or through, Twitter or something. It's something that you need to really sit down in person and talk to people about. So that's why I think the class is really good this summer, because you'll be sitting down with me and you'll have probably like an hour or more of my time to just be able to talk about this. And but yeah, I want to help you start a band if you're not in one and you're interested. Give you some tips about that. If you're already in a band, I want to help you learn a little bit more about what you need to do to take it to the next level, if that's what you're interested in. And my class isn't just for vocalists or anything. I don't want to just talk about doing vocals the whole time, for sure. But I'm open to any questions and everything. I'd like to answer everybody's questions. And but yeah, I mean, I'm really talking a little bit about everything. I'd like to talk about the business side of music too, because I kind of know what happens on the other end of the spectrum, and I'd like to tell you guys about that too. And I mainly just want to focus on young individuals who are in up-and-coming bands that, need some tips and help to take it a little further.
So if you could go back in time to 14 or 16-year-old Fronz and kind of tell yourself one thing, what would that be?
That's a good question. Um, I would just tell myself that the hard work and dedication will pay off eventually. So just don't ever give up, really, because there's a lot of stages of being a beginning band to getting to the touring level, and a lot of those stages along the way, you just want to throw everything down and quit. And the difference between people who become successful and don't are the people who become successful never quit. So that's just the really important thing right there, is just there will be tough times along the road, and just never quit. If you really want something, you'll get it eventually. So
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to start off by talking about, how long you've been doing this, because, just because somebody may have heard about Attila 2 years ago or a year ago doesn't mean that it started a year ago or 2 years ago. And I think that's true across the board. Like, every band that quote unquote blows up overnight, they didn't really blow up overnight.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for 5 years. You just never heard about it because they were doing it to 10 people in a VFW hall in Georgia or something, but they were doing it. You just didn't hear about it.
Exactly. And that was us, like circa 2006, playing VFW halls and ice cream parlors and basements for like 10 or 15 people, and just grinding it out as hard as we could, and making sure those 10 or 15 people wanted to come back again and turn into 20, 25. And, that's how it all starts. And I think that's a cool thing, though, is because a lot of bands these days are losing touch with that. They kind of just think that you can record a CD and then just blow up instantly. And, while it works for some people, it's really rewarding to go through the whole process, and anyone can still do that. So,
Well, you said before, this is a chance for someone at Warped Tour to get an hour of your time. You're a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff going on, especially Warped Tour is a crazy, insane grind with a million things happening at every second of the day. Why take the time out of your day to teach this class? Why is this important to you?
It's just important to me because the fact that it's even available. I went to Warped Tour when I was like 15 years old, and there was nothing like this available. So the fact that this is even possible makes it important to me, because it's just a great way for me to reach out to everybody. This is going to be a class I'm teaching every single day, every single state, all of Warped Tour. So it's just great. No matter what state you live in, it's not like a one-time deal in one state. This is a everyday deal, and it's worth it for me to take my time and do it, because I have a lot to say, and it'll be nice to be able to say it to you guys and help teach you guys, and just get to interact with you guys a little closer than what we normally would be able to do. So,
I mean, it's a pretty cool opportunity. It's hard to get an hour to sit down with someone like you that's seen so many sides of this business, that's come from the VFW halls to now. That I know if I was 14, I would certainly have taken it. I mean, I would do it now. Why not? I could learn something. You can learn something from anybody.
Exactly.
So, let's talk about parents. We've said that, we said invite your parents to this. Mom and dad are oftentimes going to be the ones buying the tickets for these band happy classes. Hello, moms and dads at home. If a parent has any concerns about this, what would you say to set them at ease?
I would just say, don't be concerned. Your kid's in good hands. We're just going to have a fun time. It's Warped Tour. It's a great, safe environment. It's really fun. Your kid's going to have the time of their life there. And, if your kid joins my class, they're definitely going to learn a thing or two. I'm sure there's a high chance that your son or daughter wants to be in a band or, be involved in this industry. And it's not as easy as you think it would be. So, I would just like to offer them a helping hand, and, don't be scared. Let them join my class, and we're going to have a good time this summer. I swear they'll come back in one piece. So,
hey, if your son or daughter is asking for more education, I think that's a pretty good sign. So Fronz, kind of on that note, if you are a parent who has a kid actually you are a parent, so why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a parent. I have a kid. His name's Blaze. He's 2.5 years old, and he's awesome. We hang out a lot, and We have a good time. We spent like 3 hours at the pool today. It was awesome. I'm a little red,
Oh man,
but
that's a long swim.
it's awesome. I love being a parent, and I bring my son to Warped Tour, even though he's little, and he loves it. So,
I grew up going to hardcore shows in the 90s, which were scary and not safe, in a horrible place in the wrong part of town with all kinds of crazy people there. And I love Warped Tour because it's like the exact opposite of that. It's a place where like a bunch of like pretty cool, artistic kids come and watch bands and have a great time, and it's safe, and there is, plenty of there's all kinds of first aid, security, people to help you if you get lost, lose your phone. They hand out water. I mean, it's like the safest environment you could possibly hope for. And I still go every year. I have a great time. So, and you see tons of kids there. You see parents there. I remember, a lot of my friends have kids now and have started taking their kids too. So I think it's really cool how family friendly Warped Tour is.
yeah, me too. I agree. It's literally just the best. Especially compared to like a small dark venue in a ghetto or something.
Exactly.
This is amazing. It's just a good time all around.
So, so talk about like, let's say that little Fronz one day says that he wants to be in a band or wants to have some kind of a creative career. Can you talk about how important education and knowledge of the business side of things is for someone that, for someone who wants to have a creative career like that? That it's not just about learning how to do the thing, but learning how to make a living at it.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of people who are great at instruments and stuff, but don't have the proper tools to make use of their skill. And it is very important to know more about the industry and everything, because there's just so much to it that you don't really know. And it's great nowadays because we have the internet and we have so many tools at our hands to use. But still knowing that there's nothing that compares to actually just being able to sit down and talk to somebody. So, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to learn, really. If you're artistically inclined, then that's great for you. If you're not, there's still opportunity to learn. It's not the end of the road. There's like I said, with enough hard work, you can do anything. So if you're not good at something at first, there's always a chance you can get better at it. And but let's say that you already possess the skills to play guitar, to play drums, you're a vocalist and you're amazing at it. There's still a lot more to it than just having the skill. And, it's more about knowing how to apply it, and especially when you're in a band, because a band is, it's not just you, you could be the most amazing drummer, but the rest of your band might not be so amazing. And, that's not going to make a good band. So that's another thing I like to stress. You guys all have to be on the same page when you're in a band. You have to have the same vision, the same goals. And, that's the really important thing about being in a band as compared to a solo artist too. So I don't know. There's just so much to talk about, really.
Well, we've got a bunch of questions coming in, so let me get to those. But before I do that, if you want to get a ticket for this class, which I think you should go to bandhappy.com/warped tour. You can sign up for Franz's class. You can sign up for, I know the other backstage classes are the Somerset, the Ready Set, Issues, and Crown the Empire, I believe. So definitely check all those out. And now let's see what kind of questions we've got here. So we've got a few people asking about this topic. Wojo is asking, do you think it's more valuable to focus on school or trying to start a band? And there's a few people who have kind of asked questions about this. So can you talk about kind of the band versus school kind of thing?
That's interesting, actually. Well, I think when it comes to school and stuff like that, I'm assuming you're talking about college, because, I believe everyone should try to finish out high school at least, because that is important. But, in some cases, like for my band, my guitarist was really young when we started touring, so he couldn't attend physical high school, but he still graduated with a diploma because he did it online and got his GED or whatever it was. But But I mean, it's actually interesting though, because when I was in Attila, like I said, I was in Attila from when I was 14, freshman in high school until now. And, there was a point in my life where it was, my parents really wanted me to continue on to college and take that route. And I was plenty smart enough. I actually had a free scholarship to college, which I just kind of turned down kindly because my true dream was being in a band. And, you only get one chance to live your dream. And, I could have gone to college and done something else, but I probably wouldn't have been nearly as happy as I am now. So, I always just stress that it's really your choice, you just really have to decide that for yourself and think about it. If being in a band is your destiny and you think that that's your calling and that's truly what you want to do, then I suggest you should do it. I don't think you should totally forfeit your schooling career if you can manage both. But I think it's more or less a balancing act, really, because like for me, Attila was touring when I was still in high school. We started touring when I was 16, so I was like a sophomore or a junior or something like that. And what I would do is I would just work it around my high school. So like, say we had spring break for a week, I would do a tour during spring break. Let's say we had summer break for a few months, I would do a tour for the summer. So I mean, early on, I worked touring and being a musician around my schooling. But then when it came time to decide on college or the band, I chose the band, and luckily things, played out in my favor. But I think it was largely just part due to the fact that I was so diligent about it. I was just determined. Like, there was no stopping me just because, that's the thing though. It takes a lot of hard work. I would dedicate, probably 8 to 10 hours of my day every day, just, promoting my band and just booking shows for us and just pushing as hard as I can. So, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be in a band, but I'm, just going to sit here and wait for a miracle. I literally worked my butt off every single day, 7 days a week. And, that's why I'm here. And, that's why my decision to choose being in my band over college played out for me. So it's truly just a decision that's up to you. But like I said, it would be smartest if you just figured out a way to balance out school and the band, so that way you could do both. And when it gets to the point where your band needs to tour to take it to the next level, then, either work it around your school or choose the band, because once you start touring, you kind of can get a feel of where you're going. And, if your band's all on the same page and you guys are ready to take it to the next level, then by all means pursue it. You only get one chance. You've got college your whole life. I still might go back to college, to be honest, just because I'm interested in learning more about business and stuff like that. But, there's no saying that I can't go back to college when I'm 30. So for now, I'm just doing what I love and seeing the world.
Cool. So here's a good question from Fear the Name. We're a band from Idaho that might have our first show soon. How do you get over stage fright?
That's a good question. I have a couple methods for stage fright, but to be honest, stage fright's something that just goes away over time. You're going to get really nervous before your first show or, your first few shows, but I swear the second you get on stage, it'll all disappear. And the main thing I would stress to anyone, especially if you're a singer, is never turn your back on the crowd. Like never show that you're scared, because the vibes and energy you give off will feed into the crowd, and the crowd will kind of not enjoy your show as much, because the crowd can feel energy, and just like you can feel the energy of the crowd. So I would just say just think about how awesome it is to play in a band. Don't have stage fright. Just think of how people out there in the crowd are just excited to see you, and they're looking forward to you. They're there for you. Be happy. So just know that the second you get on stage, it's all going to go away, and you're just going to get right into it.
So Rayanne Rodriguez asks, will you be talking, and we've got quite a few questions about this, will you be talking about how you started Stay Sick? I'm very interested in starting a clothing line.
Sure, I definitely can. If a few people are interested in that, then I definitely can talk about that too. I'd be more than happy to talk about that. I think what we should do, honestly, is just have everybody, like, collectively tweet at me or something, and just let me know if there's certain topics you want me to kind of touch on. I can add it into my lesson plan. But yeah, sure, I'd love to talk about Stay Sick. I started it a few years ago in 2011, and at the time I didn't really even have any money or anything, and it was it was a bold move, but it's just like being in a band, really. If you're really dedicated and you work hard towards it and you're positive about the outcome, then your outcome will be good. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about clothing line this summer. So if you guys all can agree that you want to hear about it, I'd love to talk about Stay Sick. Represent.
Is it staysick.com? What is that? Where, if someone's interested?
StaySickThreads.com.
StaySickThreads.com. Okay. So a few other people have asked about, your vocal style. So specifically, a lot of people, you think anybody can scream, which it's definitely not that easy. So kind of a couple questions asking about like how you learned to scream, and then also how you came up with the idea of, kind of the like rapping influenced screaming, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, well, basically, I kind of knew I wanted to be in a band when I was probably like 12 years old or so. I was pretty young. It was when I was in middle school. And I kind of tried everything, to be honest. I tried playing drums, I tried playing guitar, and I was just pretty bad at everything. So my friends didn't want to kick me out of my band, which is why I just picked up the microphone, and I just was deemed the vocalist. And, I found that I wasn't too bad at it. Granted, I actually was pretty bad at first, but I think it was because I was trying something that was out of my style. I was trying to mimic bands that didn't suit my vocal style. But when I was in 8th grade, not yet in high school, a band that was in high school asked me to be their vocalist for a talent show, which would end up being the first show I ever played. And we were playing really heavy songs. We were playing Zayo and Hatebreed and stuff like that. And, I hopped on the mic and started doing that vocal style, and it just instantly clicked. It was just natural to me. And that's what was cool, is just that feeling of just knowing like instantly what you were meant to do. And I think that's also, now that I think about it, something that really helped me was doing a cover with my band, just to see like what vocal style fit me, because up until that point I was a fresh musician trying to do originals, and I obviously had no direction at that point in my life at only 12 years old. But I think if you're trying to find your vocal style and stuff, you should definitely do some covers and stuff. And with vocals, it's something that you're really just going to get better and better at with time. So if at first you're not as great as you'd like to be, just know that there's lots of room for improvement. So your vocals will only get better if you keep doing them.
Monica V wants to know, what are your feelings on girls getting into the industry? Are they treated the same?
If anything, if you're truly a talented girl in the industry, if anything, it's kind of better for you. Girls in bands are a great selling point from the view of a manager or a label. And, especially a girl that can play their instrument. It's, if anything, you pretty much do have an advantage. You definitely have to be a strong-willed woman, though, because it is an industry that's largely dominated by men. And but don't let that discourage you, because it really doesn't matter. I mean, look at Paramore. I mean, Haley's the bomb and she kills it, and she's a female. So I definitely wouldn't get discouraged. I would say females are definitely treated the same. We've toured with bands that had females in the band, and it's cool. I mean, as long as you're okay with, not showering a lot and, using porta potties and stuff, I guess, then you got it. You're good. Join the band. Let's do it.
Porta potty life. Yeah. So
Glamorous life.
HC Tony wants to know, if you had one artist or band to pick as your biggest inspiration, who would that be?
Oh, That's a hard question because the way I've kind of always answered this question, which is my honest answer, is I was never really inspired by one particular band, but I was more or less inspired, me vocally, just speaking on a vocal perspective, I was more or less inspired by the lack of creativity with bands because a lot of bands didn't experiment with, fast rhythm vocals and just interesting rhythm vocals and stuff like that. So I was inspired by the lack of creativity in bands at the time that I started Attila. So that's what inspired me, really. I try not to really look up to anyone like that or anything because I don't know. I just like to try to do my own thing, really.
And Robin Wilkins 1 wants to know, if you could have done anything else, what would that be? So if you weren't doing Attila, what do you think you would be doing?
I'd be a NASCAR driver. I really, really love driving fast, and I love racing. And actually, like my whole life growing up, I just really wanted to be a race car driver. I still kind of do want to be a race car driver, but I think it would be a lot more fun as a hobby. But yeah, I mean, I really wanted to be a race car driver or a weatherman because I love the weather and I love driving really, really fast.
All right. And so one last question, which is, what do you think is the hardest lesson that you've learned from all these years of doing Attila?
Probably just that no matter how hard you try, you're really not going to please everybody. You can put out a song or you can put out music that you're so proud of that you think is amazing. You love it. You put your heart and soul into it, and people can just shrug it off. You might have some people that understand it and love it, but there's some people that are really not going to like it. And you just have to, swallow your tongue sometimes. And, it's definitely an industry where you don't want to burn bridges either. So, you're not going to please everybody, and you kind of just have to hold your head up and just truck through things sometimes. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time. And anybody who's interested in learning more about this, again, go to bandhappy.com/Warped Tour. You can buy a ticket for Fronz's behind the scenes class every single day on this year's Vans Warped Tour. And I will hopefully catch you guys on our next band chat.
All right. Bye, guys.